Takes about 20 seconds for it to start feeding through. All right. All right, I got feed through. We are live.
Okay,
All right, so Kathy, if you want to call the meeting to order.
I'm going to call the meeting to order and take roll call.
And so we'll do roll call of Helen Douglas Taylor, and Kathy Ben Boydell,
Present.
Ruth Benner,
Present.
Mary Kay O'Neill,
I'm here.
Julie Bugnitz,
I'm here.
Tayana Daris,
Here.
Robin Drew,
Here.
John Knowles,
Here.
and Fran Ventimiglia.
Here.
And we have, it looks like Tony Burrow joining us.
Yes.
Hi.
Excellent.
Hello.
And did we have anybody watching on our YouTube?
Let me look. One watching now, I'm sure that's me. So.
All right. Well, I don't believe we have any public portion at this point. So we will move on to item number 2, minutes of the June 22nd, 2020 meeting. Does anyone have any additions or corrections to the minutes of last month's meeting? Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes?
I'll move that we accept the minutes as written. This is Fran.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Our next item is our director's report.
This is the month when we have a really long report. It is preserving a longer format that used to be the monthly report, but we wanted to, do it once a year because it reminds us of all the little pieces that we've done over the course of the year. And so you'll see both monthly information and summary information. The only thing that I have to, I'm going to presume that you've all read it. The only thing that I have to add is that we are in the middle now of pinning down whether or not we're going to move back to stage 1, which is curbside. And that's in accordance with movement from the other libraries. And, essentially because we have rising cases and have it for about 3 weeks now, which is our criterion. So essentially it is, do we go back to curbside real soon or do we watch things for a bit before we do it? But I have no doubt that we'll eventually end up going back to curbside. But we had an email conversation about that earlier today. If any of you have any feedback on that, I am eager to hear it. That's the only update I have to the actual board report itself.
I have a question for you. Do you have anybody inside of the library that have been affected by the virus?
Back in April, we had one staff member who had not been coming in the library, and so it didn't directly affect us, the rest of the staff. But she had a hubby who had been exposed, and so she stayed home for a while. His test came back negative, so we presumed her negative. And just today, I learned that another staff member was exposed to someone who has the virus at her day job. And so she is quarantining and testing now, but she was one that we were having work from home building craft kits. And so she also has not been exposed to the other staff members here.
Okay. And just from your own personal opinion, do you think that you should go back to phase 1 now? I've been watching the numbers every day, and it's getting to the point where the surge is so high, especially here in St. Louis, that I'm almost expecting everybody's going back to stage 1 pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. I think it's really a matter of how long do we wait before we do it. My inclination right now is to stay at stage 2 at least through the end of the week and see what kind of activity we have over the end of the week, and kind of feel it out for Monday. But we know that there are other libraries in the area that'll be closing in midweek, and so we also could, match that timing and get political cover, so to speak.
I think with your clientele, so many Blacks are developing it right now, and it's really those that with diabetes is having a hard time.
Mhm.
And I think that would be the only reason why I would encourage the sooner the better.
Right. The outcomes are far, far worse for the African American population than they are
Yes.
for.
I mean,
population.
we're actually dying from it.
Mhm.
Why not close now? What's holding you back? Or, stage one?
The desire to serve. The biggest difference between stage 1 and stage 2 is how many people get access to the computers.
Is that
And that's where we see like the people that need us the most are also the ones that need to get on computers, usually for short term, like we've been giving them 15 minutes and that's enough for almost everybody. It's that computer access that really makes the difference. And we see people coming in all the time saying, I can't apply for this state aid or that state aid because I don't have a computer at home. And that's what's keeping us from just going straight to curbside right now. That being said, we do have plans if we do go to curbside to, weather permitting, get computers outside under a tent where people can use them, and to step up our, we did do faxing and copying for people when we're under curbside before, but we think we can expand the modes to do it and therefore help more people. So we won't be totally abandoning those people, but it will be working from outside and working from their car instead of coming to the building and sitting down. So that's why I'm kind of on the knife edge. When we know we can serve either way, but we serve more if we stay open. But at the same time, that's also more risk.
Right.
And so that's why I've been waffling.
We're having great success out in Richmond Heights with those tents and people coming up. So you're onto something there. That's a good idea.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I think you can thank Becky for that. I think she thought of the tents.
It's a good idea. It's working.
Okay.
So, can I understand? So then you can get computers outside under a tent?
Yes.
Is that what you were saying? Okay.
Right. The idea is to protect them from the sun and but not during the rain because that would be bad for the computers. But we can actually run the computers out there, 2 of them, put them on 15-minute timers so that people don't sit there all day, and do them like we are doing now. Only it'd be 2 of them instead of 8, and that's a matter of how many we can get under that tent and how many tents we could line down the row and that kind of thing.
And will you have to have someone then assigned outside all day?
We would have someone sitting at the front, the old oak desk, watching all day and going out there and helping whenever someone waves for help. So it wouldn't be zero risk. It would still be a staff member going out there, but we can reduce the risk to 1 staff member at a time.
And they're outside.
Yes, and they're outside, and that's a big difference.
I get that part. The actual risk is to the equipment.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If you don't have someone who is assigned in the same area under the tent, and I understand the risk involved with that, but also, realistically, this equipment is going to be rather portable because obviously you're going to be moving it in and out.
Right.
And, it takes like 2 minutes for stuff to disappear. So I don't know if that is, how the risks balance out.
We would put it to reduce the chance of theft. We would put it on one of the rolling tables and then lock the computer to a rolling table in a way that they can't get the lock off. So they'd have to steal the computer and the rolling table both while a staff member is looking at them from the old oak desk.
And this is just, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Oh, I understand.
I was in the Two Hill in an office that was probably less than 200 feet from the ATM machine, and the ATM machine sat in an area that had open windows to outside, and staff was back and forth all the time. Mm-hmm. The ATM machine disappeared. And an ATM machine is way harder to move than a rolling table.
That's a good dolly. Someone had a very good dolly.
We think they backed the truck up to the door. But
All right.
anyway, but I mean, stuff happens really quickly. And as
Mm-hmm.
long as we're aware of that and,
Oh yeah,
it may be worth it to do that.
right.
Yeah, but even if we had a staff member, I don't want them to try to be a hero. Let them take the computer.
Well, that's true, but they're
Likely.
it's less likely to happen because the opportunity isn't there if someone is there. But if no one is around, and it's just something to think about. I don't have real strong feelings either way, because also from doing assistance work where we've needed to help people with utilities, and to access utility monies, you have to have certain kinds of verification of income and identity and that kind of thing. And we've been doing it through email. And I have had people who we've had to make other arrangements with to meet us somewhere, or who have had to go through like an Office Depot or some other thing to get it to us, who don't have their own access. So I understand what the up and downsides are on both, having the access, but I don't know that the risk is all that great to have them come in and at 15-minute intervals. It's not. If you put two of the computers just in the vestibule between the doors, maybe, and not all the way into the library, but maybe just between the doors and the airlock.
You have a lot of people. You could have 2 people in that small area, though.
Right. We're trying to avoid multiple people in an enclosed space.
Because actually, you need to protect the employees of the library. I get it that people need the help, and I'm really impressed that you care that much. But for the library employees, we have to think about them. We had 6.
If the individuals using the computer are wearing a mask, and the employees are wearing a mask, and the employees are not standing in the airlock with the computers and the individuals, but at the old oak desk, you are probably far enough to not have significant risk, from what they're saying, if everyone is wearing a mask.
Yeah, we've got a plan in place, and it's trying to find that balance point between serving and being safe. So don't worry too much about that. The other risk point for the plan, so to speak, would be that we want to continue doing notary services because of the election coming up. And we have a plan for that too, to work across the table just outside the door with our 2 notaries.
Yeah, I commend you for that.
Absolutely.
And thinking of that forward thinking. Thank you.
If we go back to phase 1, some of the activities you were listing, would we continue to try to do those through August?
The computer things and the waxing and such, yeah.
The one that I'm most concerned about is the chalk party.
Yeah.
Even if we were not in phase 1, even if we were still at the current phase, if we do the chalk party, do we have a plan for the social distancing? Because I can see lots of activity with kids on the parking lot for that, and the social distancing piece.
There is social distancing built into the plan, and Amy has specific instructions for the participants to divide them into family groups and give them sections.
Okay, I didn't know if we were going to section off somehow.
Yeah, we are. And I have not talked about it with Amy. We have not talked about killing that particular program. It's also an outside program, and so the risk is much lower to begin with. So we're probably going to keep doing that, but I haven't talked to her about it yet.
A comment on the computers outside. I have tents available through the farmers market. I could probably get you up to 4 of them rather than they're coming out of the library's monies. I need to talk to Mary Hawk about it. I can get you later on that.
Like to borrow a tent from them?
Wanted to borrow. I believe I could. I know I could probably get you up to 4 tents.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that later, because that would expand the number of computers we can put outside. And then it's a question of how many can we manageably, how many can we manage reasonably and we can
Right.
go beyond the 2 that we're considering to fit under that 1 tent. So yes, I'll talk to you later about that. It's good.
Okay.
Well, I got another question. Would you be needing some volunteers to help out with that?
I don't want to put more people under risk. My current plan is to continue to bring in the part-timers under their current schedule so we can maintain our current hours. Because if I just went back to just full-timers like we did the last time we did curbside, then we'd probably have to reduce hours as well. And I'd rather not do that. So I
Yeah.
think I can safely bring in the part-timers, and everyone's got a kind of a more set schedule now.
Yeah.
So my hope is to bring in the part-timers, and then we don't have to get volunteers and have more people at risk.
Good idea.
Not that I think it's particularly at risk, but the volunteers, we wouldn't want them outside with the patrons anyway.
Right.
We'd want them to be inside watching and be able to respond, but not be sitting out there with.
Okay. Good idea.
Anyone else have a strong opinion about when we'd go to curbside?
I think we should just really follow your discretion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly how I feel. I mean, you're in the trenches, so you know best.
Right.
You're doing the day.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been tracking everything closely and talking about it every day. So we've got our plans in place. Like I said, it's either going to be Wednesday or it's going to be sometime next week. It just depends on what it looks like in the next day or two, whenever announcements come out and we find out exactly the details where we want to land on that. All right. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it, and for the advice. Any questions about the director's report?
I don't hear any response, so shall we move on then to our treasurer's report?
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Yes.
Becky,
Hello.
hi. Becky sent over the bank statements and the QuickBooks file. I did have a chance to look at everything, and everything, as usual, looks really good. So, thank you very much.
I'll go ahead and put a little comment here, if you don't mind, Mary Kay, which is that if you look at that report, you'll see that it's in the director's report, enunciated under the finances portion, but it's also in the numbers for the past fiscal year, that we are underspent by a good 80K, partly because of COVID and partly because of some other timing issues, and we are overcollected by, I can't remember the number, it's in there. So we're actually way in the black for this fiscal year that just ended.
Okay, well, that's better than the red, I suppose.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay,
Well, especially if we start seeing like reduced revenue coming in from the state because of people not paying their property taxes, having that much more cushion will help.
right. Okay, our next item on our agenda is old business.
I have none.
I have none.
I don't have anything.
That was easy.
Okay, new business, financial. Did we discuss that enough?
I have nothing that he's voting on.
Building maintenance?
None.
Okay, anything general?
None.
Okay, our council representative? Would you want?
I got the brochure in the mail today. I was glad to see that.
Going with the survey on the back?
Yes, it was very
Excellent.
good. Very good. I'm having a council meeting tomorrow, and this is great information to give to everybody, and also to let them know about all the plans that you have in place. That's fantastic. And so hopefully that it will get out that if they want those people that need to have computer access, they've got a certain amount of time. And
Right.
I'm very pleased with how the consideration that you have, because it's really serious from the numbers that we're seeing.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, I do have to tell you one other thing. At the last meeting, I had called in the afternoon because I knew I was going to be about 5 minutes late to see if there was a Zoom call. And the person who answered the phone said there was no Zoom call. So I got to the, I got down to the library like 5 minutes afterwards, at 7 o'clock, and I could not get in. I went to every door and I was knocking on the doors with my keys. And
I'm so sorry.
no, it's okay. It was kind of funny because I had this one little key that I could make noise like an alarm. It's the damsel in distress, and I was just a pushing that thing.
Mm.
And two guys came up because they thought I was in distress. And I said, no, I'm not in distress. I'm trying to get in this building. I did not have anybody's cell number.
I needed to pass you an email with my cell number then.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, though. And when when I got back home and I looked at my computer, it had a number on there for the Zoom, but I couldn't get in. So I don't know. It could probably maybe had something to do with the internet or something like that. But it did have it on there.
Right, because we had one person joining by Zoom.
Yeah. So, but when I called in, they said it wasn't a Zoom call, so I thought I'm gonna leave that alone. But it was kind of funny. The damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And you have my number, correct?
Yes.
This is okay.
On something from our council member, the flyer that went out, I know that they wanted to find out who all got it. Tomorrow I'm back from vacation. I will go ahead and check throughout the post office, and I'll be able to identify all the routes that have delivered it. And I have a couple of people watching for me, just in case it wasn't done as well as it could have been.
Thanks so much.
John, so not to get confused, what I found out from your house is that mail was not going out like we're used to. Because my guy was on vacation and we didn't get any mail for 4 days. And that's how I knew he was on vacation, because we didn't get any mail. So that's taken into consideration. I'm sorry?
You have a new postmaster general.
I know. Oh, don't I know about it?
And delivery of mails is not a priority for this individual.
I know.
So in any overtime, he's chosen for everybody just for it to sit. I'm embarrassed personally. 30 years in the postal service, I am embarrassed that this is happening.
And really, his timing is quite interesting, considering that now you can get a list every morning of what mail is going to be delivered to you. And I can tell you, rarely does that mail come on the day that it's supposed to.
Oh yeah, it's an embarrassment.
It is.
You know, because I get something every day saying I have mail coming, and it's been 4 days out of a week I don't get mail.
Mm-hmm. But what was bothering me is I get medication in the mail. And
so do I.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something. When you get the kind that I get, you really do need it. And so now what that's gonna do is probably push people to start ordering in advance so you don't run into a problem. Isn't that crazy?
Congressman Clay has helped pass a bill through the House that is correcting all the issues. If you need to harass your senators, be able to get the legislation through the Senate, and then President Trump said that he won't sign anything.
Okay, that's good information, John. Thanks.
Again, I'm embarrassed.
Okay, any other comments? Discussion? Well.
No, I don't think.
Shall we adjourn?
Good.
Adjourn?
Okay. Meeting adjourned 7:25.
Thank you all.
Can I get a report from you from tomorrow for the council meeting?
You want a report?
Yeah, that would be great.
All right.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to make a copy of it and give it to each one of the council members so that we can do our people for our wards, if that's okay.
Okay, you just wanted the stuff that we covered out loud here.
Right.
Yeah.
I got the
'Cause
minutes.
you've
and all
got you got the big report and it has the real
You're
meat.
right. I got that.
And Tony, will you make sure that you keep us in mind? We still need a board member because Julie is wanting not to continue.
Okay.
So we're needing to get another appointment and we need to have the official reappointment of, I guess that's going to be Ruth and Tayana.
Okay, we're doing that tomorrow.
Good.
Ruth and who else?
And Tayana.
Hey, oh, okay, Tiana. Good. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a question. Do you have anybody that you have on tap that wants to be on the board?
Is Tiana on the call?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Tiana, did your person get a chance to submit their application?
I will follow up. He
Okay.
did say that he got the paperwork, but I will follow up about if he actually submitted it to City Hall.
Yeah, if you send me the name, I'll go ahead and submit it, get it approved, and I'll get the information later.
Okay.
That's what I did with John. So if you do that, I'll get everything done.
Okay.
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 Okay. Thank you both.
Great. I'm glad you mentioned that, Becky. Good deal.
Okay, thanks all.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank
Good
you both.
meeting.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.